Hey guys, I am back for another video. Today we're going to be making Halloween terrariums. I'm sorry the lighting is so messed up now. It won't be when we actually start the DIY. I just happen to have so many grow lights around me right now that it makes the lighting really weird. Anyway, I'm going to show you all the items that I have to start with and then we will start making them. I have a bunch of different little trinkets. These were all from Micheals. You'll see them in a haul in my next video. And then I got these little terrariums, which actually came from Dollar Tree. I have another one if I want to make another one. And then I have this big glass terrarium. It does have a bottom. It's just not up here right now. It is dirty because I have used it before. But I'm thinking that I might use it for this little statue because this one's too big to go into that one. So I thought maybe I'll make an even bigger one. Not exactly sure. And then of course I have some different color moss. This came from Micheals too, and then I have my hot glue gun heating up right there. So this should be a simple DIY if everything goes accordingly. And it should also be easy enough for you guys to custom and make it your own. I thought all this stuff was so cute when I got it at Micheals. So adorable. A little pricey, but really, really adorable. Alright, let's get started. Let's start with making this little one first. Let me cut off the tag. So the first thing I'm going to do is actually hot glue some moss to the bottom of here. I'm not going to make it too thick because I want to hot glue this fairy, which this is the one that we're going to be using for the first one, to the bottom of it. And if you add too much moss, I feel like it'll kind of like flop around. So let's see how that goes. I have so much different colors of moss to work with here. I'm not exactly sure which one I'm going to use. I like this one, so I think we're going to use a little bit of that. And maybe just this green one. Maybe we'll add a little bit of red. I think I'm going to add a little hint of red because there is red in her crown. I hope you guys can actually see that. Also, if you don't want to make it permanent, you don't have to use hot glue. These are just going to sit. Nobody's going to be messing with them, so I don't think anybody would recognize the difference if I glued this down or not. But before I add any other moss, I'm actually going to add the fairy and then kind of like decorate around her so I know that I have room for her. So I'm just going to hot glue the bottom of her. For such a bad angle. I actually think I may want to turn her around a little bit so she's facing outwards. So there she goes. Now I'm going to add some of the other moss around her. Okay, so there it goes so far. Can you guys see it? Do you get a good view of it? I'm working with the camera at an angle from me because I just don't have a good view. So now we're going to add little accessories to it to go along with her. So I picked up these books. I thought would be really cool. And then I also think I'm going to add maybe a skull or two. Maybe just one because it is such a small terrarium. So let's open the books. I'm just seeing which book would look the best in there. I think the blue would be too bright. The red kind of goes with, well, it's more like a reddish pink. That kind of goes with everything. And then astrology, I think I'm going to wait. I think I'm going to use the Witchcrafts book. It's really cute, these ones. I thought they were going to be like a foam or something, but they're not. They're really cute. And then let's grab one of these skulls. I'm going to pick out a little tiny one because it is a tiny terrarium. Then I'm just going to lay them in there, see exactly how I want them. I am not going to glue them down. I just see no need for it right now. Later on I might. Okay, I think that's how I'm going to keep it. Let me take the camera off in the stand and actually give you guys more of a close-up view because it's hard to see it from that angle, I know. Here it goes more up close. We have our skull at the bottom, our book, and our skeleton fairy. I'm sure lights would look pretty cool in here, but even the Dollar Tree lights I feel like would be too big for this tiny terrarium. You can see this pot behind there is like a 3-inch pot. So this terrarium is pretty small. It's not that big. So I think adding any sort of lights would not work in here. This one, I think I'm going to leave it just as it is, and we're going to move on to our next terrarium. Let's move this one off to the side. Again, I might glue down everything in time if it gets messed around with a lot. I have 2 kids, so they might poke at it. So if I do, I'll glue it down. But for now, that's going to probably stay right here on my desk with my little succulents over here. I was going to make one more tiny one before we moved on to the big one, but I want to make sure I have enough for the big one. So at the end, if we have extra, I'll make another tiny one. Alright, we're moving on to our big one. I'm not too worried about being dirty, guys. I know a lot of people would probably clean it out because we did use this for dirt. We did have an actual terrarium in here. But you know what? I think the little hints of dirt in there give it more of a look for Halloween. So I'm going to leave it as it is. Okay, the first thing we have to do is add moss. I am actually not going to glue any of this down. I do hope to use this terrarium in the future, and I probably won't keep it a Halloween terrarium unless I actually really like it. So I'm just going to place moss in there and see what happens. If it does mess up, I will glue it down, but I'm going to try not to. Have somewhat of a base in here. Let's put our one statue in. I'm going to use this big bride and groom statue, and then we'll fill in around it. They actually stand pretty well in there. They're pretty heavy for the price, so they're like pushing down the moss a lot. So I'm going to add more moss around them because they are on a black and white stand. You can still kind of see it right here. And I kind of want it to look like they're walking through a graveyard, not actually in a house. So I am going to add more moss to cover that stand. Okay, I'm going to add these 2 small little graveyard stones in there. I wasn't going to, but I think I am now. I was going to save these for the small terrarium, but I think I'm just going to use them in here. Maybe it could be like a bride and groom type of deal, like their tombstones. Okay. Let's add some of these skulls to it. This one I could definitely see you adding lights to. The Dollar Tree lights would fit perfectly in here. I happen not to have any, so that's not going to happen, but Dollar Tree lights would look really nice in here, I think. Okay, so I bought these little, I don't know, just decorations, and I was going to hang them from a string from the jar, but the little hooks aren't really that big to get a string in there. I don't have a string that tiny, so what I think I'm going to do, let me back you guys up. What I think I am going to do is actually glue them around the top, so there's like 4 of them around the top. I didn't want to hot glue anything, but I think this will be okay. I definitely think I'll be able to take them off if I want to reuse this jar for anything, so I'm going to go ahead and hot glue these. So there goes the top of the jar. I wish I had one more because I have an open space back here where my finger's at. But I think it'll be fine. I don't think anybody will care. Let me put the stand on. Ooh, I could put like some Halloween ribbon around the bottom. I didn't even think of that. And that would probably look really cool with this too. To make the bottom a little bit more Halloween. I don't have Halloween ribbon, but I may add that later on. Okay, so this is what this one looks like for now, but again, it might change as time goes on because I think I am going to add a few different things to here. Like some ribbon around the bottom or something, or maybe even moss. Covering this in some more of the green and tan moss, whatever this stuff is, that might look really good at the bottom too. So I might add something to the bottom of this, but for right now, this is what it looks like. We got skulls around the bottom and the graveyards and the husband and wife and these little gems up at the top. I am going to have enough to do one more of these small ones. I have the little cat here. Ooh, maybe I can add this to there. I don't think so. I think I'll hold that one out. I have the cat. I have some books. I have a few more skulls. I have some more of the moss, so I think I can do one more small terrarium. I think one more small terrarium will look cool. I could put the small terrariums on the side of the big one, So I think we're going to work with this. Since I only have this green moss and this red moss left, I'm going to try to mix them. The little cat figure that I want to use does have like a maroon ball, so it kind of goes with the moss a little bit. So yeah, I'm just going to mix the moss that we have left and add it to the bottom. I will be hot gluing it because I don't think the cat is going to stay on its own. I think it's going to have some issues with standing, so we're going to hot glue it down. I'm not sure this one's going to look too Halloweenish. I hope it does. I hope it comes out just fine, but I'm not sure how it's going to look. For the record, I got all my little figures from Micheals. I almost forgot there. But I know Dollar Tree does sell really cute figures. These are better quality than Dollar Tree, but if you can't afford these because they are kind of expensive, definitely check out your local Dollar Tree. I'm sure you can find something that will look just as nice. Alright, so, oh, the cat kind of stays in there nicely without being glued down, so I don't think I'm going to glue it. I hate gluing things down because I normally take my DIYs later on and make them into new things. So if I glue them down, it kind of messes them up, but I think that's looking good. I'll put both the little books that are left in here with the cat. So we'll put fortune tell in there, and we'll put astrology there, and we'll put a few small skulls in here too, just to make it look a little bit more Halloween. Like it's a witch's cat or something, or a psychic's cat or something. I will show you all three terrariums in a minute, but the only thing I have left from this DIY that I bought was these three skulls and some of the moss. Okay, are you guys ready to see terrariums all done? Again, I'm sorry if the lighting was a little off. I have so many grow lights around here, and when I turn them off, it still look bad. So, anyway, let's see the terrariums now that they're finished. Here goes terrarium number 1 with the little skull fairy, skeleton fairy, and the skulls and the book. So here goes number 1. Here goes number 2 with the couple. There goes a little bit farther back. Not looking too Halloween with that DIY behind it, but here it goes a little bit more up close. And let's move on to the last one with the skeleton cat. So guys, I hope that you like this DIY. I wanted to make it as simple as possible so that you guys can take the DIY and you can make it your own. Make it as elaborate as you want or make it as simple as you want. And I really do like how they came out, and it was a pretty cheap DIY. And if you could grab the things, if you do go to Micheals for the little statues and you could grab them on sale, it would be even cheaper. If you grab moss and things from the Dollar Tree, it would be even cheaper that way. Please guys, give this video a thumbs up if you like this DIY and you want to see even more DIYs. And until I see you in my next video guys, I hope that you have a good morning, afternoon, or evening. Bye guys.